the kind of person who does a lot of embarrassing things, usually caused by clumsiness. And being in a relationship means that the other person in the relationship is usually there to witness all of these things.
After this video, you can check out my part of the collab over on my channel where Wolfie and I each share one more story, illustrated by yours truly.
My friend Emirichu and I were talking about this, and I think by this point we're both pretty well known to be very clumsy. Because of this, we've had a lot of embarrassing things happen in both of our relationships as well. Like this one time where I was with Jordan outside. I think that this one happened on Valentine's Day. At one point, I leaned in to kiss him, but as I got really close, I suddenly burped right in his face. Okay, my burps are very random. I have no control of them. They happen with no warning, but he didn't know that at the time. It took him a moment to understand what had just happened as well. Like, he couldn't believe I'd really just done that to him. And now he loves telling other people that story too. It's so embarrassing. Most of the embarrassing stories that I picked for this video just happened to take place in the first year of our relationship, which made them so much worse at the time as well. Like, there was one time, it was actually New Year's Eve. Jordan and I were going to a friend's house to celebrate with some other people. I was still living with Jordan in his parents' house at this point. We'd been there for about 2 months. While I was standing at the front door waiting for Jordan to get ready, I noticed that my shoelace wasn't tied properly, so I just bent down to fix it. When I stood up again, I hit my head really hard on something above, which fell off the wall and crashed loudly at my feet. It was this really pretty wall ornament that looked like half a birdcage filled with mirrors and candles that belonged to Jordan's parents. I had always been a bit nervous about breaking this specific ornament because it stuck out from the wall a bit and I'd almost walked into it a few times already, but I could not believe that this time I'd actually broken it. Jordan and his dad both came running at the sound of the crash and saw what had happened. I just started crying because I felt so bad. I just kept apologizing over and over, and Jordan's dad was trying his best to reassure me that it was okay. He said that I'd been thinking of replacing that ornament anyway, which I'm pretty sure he was just saying to make me feel better. It was so awkward. Even after leaving the house to go celebrate the new year, I couldn't stop thinking about it for the rest of the night.
Oh no! I'd like to imagine that while everyone was doing the end of the year countdown, all excited, the image of you potentially destroying a family heirloom was just playing on loop in your head like a bad war memory. I'm glad they were chill about it though.
Okay, Emmy, let's hear your story.
Alright, so funnily enough, my embarrassing moment is also involving my significant other's dad. So this moment happened when I was visiting Ditus in the summer and meeting his parents for the very first time. Big moment. As you can imagine, kind of intimidating. I was determined not to make a total fool of myself, and honestly, things were going really well. They were super nice, and they had a really cute patio where we could eat and enjoy the summer air. Separating the patio from the inside of the house was this sliding screen door. You know where this is going. So while we were setting up for lunch, I'd picked up one of the plates and headed to the patio outside. And I don't know if maybe my head was filled with nerves or if I was too excited to eat to pay attention, but I immediately slammed right into the screen door, thinking that it was already open. When I turned around to see if anyone had noticed, Ditus's dad was staring right at me, and he just says, "You know, people usually open the door first." He had a good laugh about it, though, so I'd like to think I still made a good impression.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who had an early embarrassing parent story. It's so hard at the time because all that you want is for the parents to like you, and then stuff like that happens to us. I've got this story which I think is the most embarrassing thing that's happened to me in front of Jordan. So we were driving home together from a little trip that we'd just been on. We actually went to the Opera House in Sydney to see a Harry Potter orchestra of the second movie. It was amazing. They played the whole movie, and there was a full orchestra playing along to it. We had the best time. But anyway, we were on our way home. It was just us in the car having fun and singing along to different songs. We'd stopped a bit earlier at a small food place to get something to eat and some milkshakes, and since then we'd been driving for maybe about an hour. It was all good and nice until all of a sudden I got hit with a really sudden and strong realization that I really needed the bathroom. My stomach started hurting really bad. I knew straight away that this was going to be a problem because we were driving on the highway in the middle of nowhere. There were barely even any road lights. I asked Jordan casually when the next bathroom stop was, and he was like,
"What? But we only just passed one. The next one is like 40 minutes away. Can you wait?
I've never felt more doomed in my life. This also happened pretty early into our relationship, so I was still kind of shy in front of him and about asking him for anything. I wanted to be like, oh, that's okay. That's not too long. But I was quickly feeling worse and worse. The pain was so bad. I think I had food poisoning, and I knew that there was no way that I'd be able to wait 40 minutes to get to a bathroom. I was trying to not sound desperate, but was still asking him, surely there must be one closer along the way. But then Jordan paused and he said that there was one place, but it was what he calls his nightmare stop. It's this really creepy looking rest stop on the road that he once had a nightmare about, and since then he's always felt weird about it and would normally completely refuse to go there. And on that night, he did not want to go there either. But at this point, I remember I was just groaning in pain. If you ask Jordan about this story, he says that he literally felt like I was in labor and he was taking me to a hospital. And I didn't want to alarm him or anything, but I had to tell him the truth, so I kept telling him that I couldn't hold it any longer, and he was just like, what do you mean you can't hold it? It was so embarrassing. I think it really surprised him how dramatic the situation seemed. He said it felt like a life or death situation.
It is a life or death situation. I would have been like, hey buddy, it's either the creepy rest stop or your passenger car seat. You decide. I mean, at that point, I would have taken a roadside bush.
Every time I'd ask, Jordan would say,
I can only drive so fast without breaking the speed limit.
He kept looking over concerned as I was just huddled over by the car window just breathing deeply. But we did make it to the stop, and okay, it really does look creepy at night. Like, normally I feel like I wouldn't want to stop in a place like that either, but in that moment, it was all I wanted, so I just ran straight out of the car with no hesitation. On top of that, I didn't even think to check the bathroom signs, so I ran straight into the men's bathroom. But there was no one there anyway. It was like 10 at night in the middle of nowhere. Or at least I thought there was no one else there.
Why does this sound so ominous?
Apparently, when Jordan was waiting in the car, he noticed that there was another car parked off the road in the darkness, and he could see that there was one person just standing next to the car. I didn't notice them at all until I got back into the car and Jordan told me. I don't know what they were doing out there in the dark, but it looked like they were waiting for someone, which is really creepy, and we were glad to be driving away from that area.
As a fellow full bladder in the middle of nowhere survivor, I commend your bravery and fortitude. This is exactly why I'm a firm believer of peeing at least 3 times before embarking on a long car ride.
Emmy and I had a lot of fun making these videos. It was an idea that we've wanted to do together for a while. And this video was only one part of the collab. If you want to see the other part, go check out the video we did over on Emmy's channel where I told a bonus embarrassing story. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories from me. Also, we've still got Wolfychu and Sweeter plushies available on my merch store. If you'd like to get your own, the link is in the description. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!